I'm going to start Lyon County Board of County Commissioners meeting for Thursday, August 15th, 2024. Action will be taken on all items unless otherwise noted. No action will be taken on any item until it is properly agendized. To avoid meeting disruptions, please place your cell phones and beepers in the silent mode. Or turn them off during the meeting. Board reserves the right to take items in different order to accomplish business in the most efficient manner. Items may be combined for consideration. Items may be pulled or removed from the agenda at any time. Restrictions on comments by the general public. Any such restriction must be reasonable and may restrict the time, place, and manner of the comments, but may not restrict comments based upon viewpoint. Board of County Commissioners convenes other boards. Members of the Board of County Commissioners also serve as the Liquor Board, Central Lyon Vector Control District Board, Mason Valley Mosquito Abatement District Board, Walker River Weed Control District Board, Willow Creek General Improvement District Board, the Silver Springs General Improvement District Board, and during this meeting may convene as any of those boards as indicated on this or a separately posted agenda. And the meeting may break today between 11:30 and 1:30 for lunch. The roll call, we have all commissioners in chambers today. Invocation today will be given by Gary Lease of Calgary Chapel, Dayton Valley.
Morning. Ben Franklin said that hard work and constant employment are great preservatives of the morals and virtues of a nation. Then he quotes the Psalm by saying, unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. He said he firmly believes this. He also believes that without his concurring aid, that we'll not succeed in the political building any better than the builders of Babel. Let's pray. Lord, today we come before you and we ask for your divine protection, your provision, and your wisdom. But we ask for your blessings upon these gatherings and on those that are here to perform the service by which you've called them to. Lord, we ask that they would seek to serve those that they represent by committing to the greater good for the citizens of Lyon County. Lord, we ask that you would grant them wisdom that they need to govern with great care and concern, the provision that they need to carry out that concern, and the protection for them and for their families needed to do so free from fear or harm. Most of all, Lord, we ask for your blessings and your peace to rule in the hearts and minds of your servants. And we ask this in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jacobs, lead some flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public participation. No action will be taken on any item until it is properly agendized. It is anticipated that public participation will be held at this time, though it may be returned to at any time during the agenda. Citizens wishing to speak during public participation are asked to state their name for the record. Will be limited to 3 minutes. The board will conduct public comment after discussion of each agenda action item, but before the board takes any action. Do we have any public? Yes, sir.
I'll give you an update. Same things are still the same on Pete Hendricks Road. 70 miles an hour is the average speed limit. Still nothing done about it. I had a couple of shoulder parkers out there trying to, but that's about it. The other thing I'd like to bring up is the hospital was here last time looking for money for the supplemental grant they got. I think the county gets grants to do things, but they don't seem to recognize, I don't know how to say this. It's really stupid, some of the stuff they build with the grant money. Let's put it that way. I don't know why Arrington Senior Center or Fernley, or I understand Dayton has one, needs a bus stop. Solar powered lighting. I've never seen a bus in Arrington. The other thing is we have outdoor dining and it's within 25 feet of the road. Who in the hell wants to sit there and eat lunch and have the cars go by and blow dust and exhaust fumes? In the process of building those two things, they took out 4 handicap parking places. There are no ADA compliant parking places at the Arrington Senior Center. None, 0. Something should be done about that. And there's You could look at the hospital, they have a good handicap parking area, and it's ADA compliant. You're gonna need to take notes and do that too. Thank you.
Anybody else want to step up? I see nobody on.
I'm sorry, can
Zoom.
you state your name for the record?
George Robbins. I signed in.
Mhm.
I know who you
Okay, then we are going to move on for possible action, review and adoption of agenda. Commissioners, anything you want to bring forward on the agenda? We have a request from the county manager for 18E to be taken care of as soon as we're done with this item. So are there any inputs from the public? Seeing none, I will look for a motion on item 5 with it moving 18E. Have anything?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the agenda as presented with moving 18A up to the next item.
Have a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Henderson and a second by Commissioner Hendricks. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes 5-0. We will move 18A up to right, or 18E, I'm sorry, 18E up to right now. Let me read 18E. For possible action, approve agreement between Via Real, a Wyoming limited liability company buyer, the county of Lyon, a political subdivision of the state of Nevada County, and the city of Fernley, a political subdivision of the state of Nevada City, regarding Via Real Estate purchasing 1200 Fremont Street, Fernley, Nevada, including the requirement that the county has reviewed and agrees to record the dedication of deed and record of survey. Mr. Haskin.
Good morning, Andrew Haskin, Lyon County Manager for the record. Yeah, so this agreement, this company is purchasing a lot in Fernley. I believe it's going to be a Tractor Supply at some point. However, when going through the process, there was an issue with the previous deed that goes back a few owners on that property, where there was something that was recorded likely in there. We believe that the previous owner that initiated this didn't mean to retain ownership of the street when they did it, but the wording legally has the meaning that they retained that ownership. They have since passed, and so there's going to be this process to get that resolved. In the meantime, the developer didn't want to hold that project up, and so they asked for some assurances from the county and the city on that, so it didn't hold up their project. And so that's what this agreement is. I know District Attorney Ryan met with their attorney and the city's attorney on this. They had several meetings and there's a lot of back and forth. And this agreement is what came out.
Commissioners, any comments or questions? Any public input? Oh, yes, Commissioner Jacobson.
Was there any cost with this? And if so, I'm assuming the developer's gonna swallow the cost.
No cost on this agreement. We're still trying to figure out what the process is going to be moving forward to get the street title resolved. And so I don't have an estimate on the cost. It won't be on the county though. That's
Commissioner Keller.
Yeah, and that affidavit, looking at it's known as Fremont Lane, and we're talking about Fremont Street. There's two different ones, or is it the
No.
same one or the same?
It is the same one. That's Aaron mentioned that there was also late backup, which you all have, which was the executed agreement from the city and from the developer.
So did we have a resolution on the street lane thing? Are we?
Where did you see that in there?
So if you
It's-
go
yeah.
to recitals B, all the property line on the roadway known as Fremont Lane.
I see what you're saying.
Mhm.
I know sometimes in these, in areas where they start naming roads, you ended up with Circle Lane, Boulevard, all with the same first name, and they are actually different streets.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
Everywhere else in here that I see, it does have it as Fremont Street. Let me. give me
Just want to
one
make
second.
sure paperwork's right.
I think the map has it street.
It is street.
The agenda item is correct, so we're good on that.
Good morning, everyone. Elisa Fogel, Deputy District Attorney. I was just looking at this page and I think we can probably fix this whole scenario one way or the other. If we just interlineate it, we can, or we could even conceivably replace this entire page because it has no initials on it. So I think we can handle that, we'll mention it to whoever the powers that be are that are going to get this agreement, but I think we can take care of it.
So the agenda items are right, so we can just move on.
The agenda item is correct. I didn't look at it.
Yeah,
It
it's
does have,
street,
on
straight,
it.
it's street. Yep, so it's correct.
Good to go.
I have a question.
Thank you.
Commissioner
Mr.
Henderson.
Chair, hold on. I have a question because the way I read this, it's that language all is in the affidavit of death that was recorded back in 1998. How can we change that?
Yeah,
Well, then, to tell you the truth, we may not be able to. It may have to stay like that.
it is a quote from another document, so.
Yes, well, I don't see how we can change it.
Then I'll suggest that we do not, but I don't. I think that basically takes care of itself by showing that it's the copying of language from an older historical document. I think we're good to go.
For me.
Anything more? You need anything more from me?
Not yet. I'll get you back later.
Go far.
Any further questions? Okay, any public input on this? If not, then we can move on with the agenda item. I'll look for a motion on 18E.
I move that we approve the agreement between VIA Real Estate, a Wyoming limited liability company, the county of Lyon, a political subdivision of the state of Nevada County, and the city of Burnley, a political subdivision of the state of Nevada City, regarding VIA Real Estate purchasing 1200 Fremont Street, formerly known as Fremont Lane, Burnley, Nevada, including the requirement that the county has received and agreed to record the dedication deed and record of survey.
A second?
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Hendricks and a second by Commissioner Keller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes 5-0. All right. We'll move back to our time certain on item 6. It is 9:13, time certain 9 a.m. for presentation only. Presentation by Molly Walt on the Nevada Rural Counties RSVP Program Incorporated. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for having me. My name is Molly Walt, CEO of Nevada Rural Counties RSVP program. And then personally, I also sit on the Person City School District Board of Trustees. So I appreciate your time this morning. I've been going around the state of Nevada, just kind of giving all of the counties and the cities just an update of the services that we provide and what we've done in the last year. And then today I'll also give you the progress we've made in the last 7 months. And I want to thank Erin. She has great customer service, by the way, and very patient. So Nevada Rural Counties RSVP, we are retired senior volunteer program. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We provide services historically in 15 of the rural counties. However, we do now have 2 programs that we go into the urban, which is telephone reassurance. It is where we have volunteers, maybe in Las Vegas, calling somebody in Ely, Nevada. Somebody in Reno, calling somebody in Eureka County once a week is what we ask for a minimum of the phone call for a telephone reassurance. Historically, we run on volunteers. However, we did get a grant from NDOT. So after COVID, we were having problems finding drivers. So we did get a grant to where we can stipend some of our drivers to give them a little bit when they drive our fleet vehicle. We also then employ independent contractors for the homemaker program and the respite program. We have matching grants from various different foundations and fundraising as well. Our reporting system is quite intensive because we are 86% grant funded from the state and from AmeriCorps. Our largest program is transportation. This is where we have right now a fleet of 18 vehicles, but I am so excited to report that I just got 4 new vehicles from NDOT yesterday from a grant. So those will be going into some of our rural communities because they're a little bit higher and they're hybrid. And we do travel from Ely to Salt Lake twice a week, Elko to Salt Lake. So they're hybrid, so it's more efficient. Like I said, their transportation is our largest program. We have our Home Companion and Good Neighbor program. That's where we have volunteers going in and checking on our seniors and adults with disabilities. Once a week is what we ask. Our respite program and homemaker, like I mentioned, this is where we have independent contractors go in. Our respite providers will go in and give the caregiver a break. Our homemakers will go into seniors' home and provide light housekeeping. We have a care law program where we have an attorney on staff, and she will help our seniors with end-of-life planning. Volunteer Stations is our AmeriCorps program. This is where we have volunteers that go into nonprofits, government entities, and they provide the volunteerism. And then what we do is we give them a mileage reimbursement to and from the volunteer station. We also have our Guardian Alert and our Lifeline, which is our personal emergency response system. Our Philips Lifeline is $50 a month, and the reason that is because it can detect a fall. So some of our seniors that have become very frail and are a fall risk, they may go that route because it will detect a fall and then it will call emergency dispatch. Our Guardian Alert 911 is a free unit that we give, and it is the I've fallen and I can't get up button, but they have to be able to speak on that, and they have to be able to give them their address when it is. Our farmers market coupons, this is our program where we're the fiscal agent for the Department of Agriculture. So the Department of Agriculture will give $50 coupon book to seniors that are eligible. And then all of those coupons throughout the state of Nevada are sent to us. We count them, we reimburse the farmer, and then Department of Agriculture reimburses us. We did take on the NEST program, which is Nevada Ensures Safety Together. This is a program where nonprofits got together during COVID and said, how are we going to make sure that our seniors are being taken care of? This was the University of Nevada. And after we opened up, they didn't want to provide direct services anymore. And it just kind of fell in line with what we do. So we took this on. It is that telephone reassurance, one-on-one phone calls. We also have online group meetings. We also provide technical support, all virtual. And this is the program that touches all 17 counties. We renamed it to Nevada Golden Connection. And then we also have the Java Music program. This is for our seniors with dementia and Alzheimer's. Right now, we're active in Fernley and Silver Springs. We do have an instructor that will go in, and it's an hour-and-a-half class once a week. So give you an idea of what we did in 2023. This is statewide. So in 2023, we serviced 834 unduplicated clients with 276 active volunteers, which is an average of 171 hours that our volunteers gave to our clients. We had 47,269 hours statewide, and we drove 338,613 miles. Breaking that down, 148,080 miles of that were volunteers in their personal vehicles. If they were to drive their personal vehicles, then we give them a 60-cent mileage reimbursement. And again, this is all grant funded. And then that becomes a little bit more of a home companion as well. Some of our home drivers will go in and sit with them while they're at the doctor's office, help them write down when the next appointment is and then call us right away. Because we find that a lot of our clients, by the time they leave the doctor's office and get home, they forget when their appointment was. 190,533 of those miles were driven in our fleet vehicles. Lyon County, this is specific in 2023, what we've done in Lyon County. So in Lyon County, 5,161.5 hours were served by our volunteers. We serviced 116 clients and we drove 432 miles with 45 active volunteers. It breaks down where we did that. So in 2023, we had 16 clients, homemaker clients. We had 11 respite care and job and music clients. 6 volunteers drove our fleet. Our fleet is located in Fernley. So that's where it's located and it's right there in the back behind City Hall. So it's secured there. That's where that fleet is. The fleet that we use for Dayton Stagecoach in Silver Springs is Carson City. So we'll either have Carson City drivers go out to Dayton, Silver Springs in Stagecoach and drive them back into town. And then the ones that are local are those who are using their personal vehicles. We understand and we're getting quite a bit of client applications for Yarrington, and we are trying to solve that problem. Because right now, all we can do is offer Yarrington, Reno, Sparks, and Carson City on a Thursday. Who does that? Our Mineral County driver. So that's how we've always done it historically. Hawthorne driver will drive through, because they normally drive through, pick up the Yarrington clients and bring them. But we're getting influx of applications wanting local travel. And so we are working, it is a problem, we're working to solve that. Our volunteer stations, we have 11 volunteers that work, and it's majority of them are in Dayton, the food bank, the library, the senior center. Those are the volunteers, and they did 2,311 hours. Our home companion, you can see we service 56 clients in the Lyon County area. In 2023, we distributed 14 PERS units. Now, from January 1st to now, as you can see, I just want to go back, look at the miles that we did for all of 2023. And look what we've done so far. And that is just from January 1. So the need is there. And these are the miles that our volunteers have driven. And I've broken it down below as well. You know, what is in a fleet vehicle and then what is in the home companion miles. And that's broken down there for you as well. We've serviced so far 76 unduplicated clients and 2,515 hours with 31 volunteers. As you can see, we're down. We are quite down the number of volunteers. So we do have a campaign, you know, that is currently running right now because we're looking for those volunteers. What we're doing is we're just asking literally somebody to give 2 to 3 hours a week. You know, drive one client, you know, to right now we have a client who needs physical therapy 3 times a week. It's hard. That's really hard to accommodate. We have transportation guidelines that say 1, you know, appointment a week, but we do exceptions when it becomes especially medical. We do concentrate on medical and shopping, which is the food insecurity. So we do concentrate on that a lot as well. And we now are probably going to have to, for the Dayton area, concentrate on just maybe 1 or 2 days a week into Carson City. Because we've become so busy on that end as well. That's it. I wanted to go really quick. You have a long agenda. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Questions, Commissioner Keller?
I just had one because you kind of went past it real quick. You mentioned the farmer's market.
Yeah.
And so how robust is that system? I mean, is that a well-funded thing? Or how often do you use that?
Okay, so what happens is normally your senior centers, at the beginning of the season, the senior centers will meet with Department of Agriculture. There's a statewide meeting, and then your senior centers will ask how many coupons they want, and then they distribute them. And so we're just literally the fiscal agent that counts them all and reimburses the farmer.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would say that it's robust. Yeah.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jacobson?
Thank you, Chairman Hockaday.
Thank you, Chairman Huckabee. I'll second that motion about Aaron.
Oh, thank you.
And then greatly appreciate the stats on Lyon County and all you do for our residents. And do you have a card or something that you could leave where we could possibly get a hold of you if we've roughed up some volunteers?
Yeah, I'll look to see that if I do, and if I don't, I'll make sure to give you my contact information. Yeah, so we need people. And, you know, ideally, I've been in this position almost for 4 years. I was with government, you know, prior to that, teacher for a while and then government. Our seniors, I'm not going to lie, they're a forgotten generation. It's kind of out of sight, out of mind. And when they're isolated in their home, they're out of sight. And so then it is kind of out of sight, out of mind. And it breaks my heart because we get just our Carson City office, we'll get 350 to 400 phone calls a week. Yesterday, I had to tell one of our clients that if she continues to call, I'm going to have to suspend her for 30 days because she's calling multiple times during the day and just asking, you know, I need to change my appointment from 1 to 1:15. And I said, okay, you just did that like an hour ago. What are you thinking of the weather, Molly? You know, I wish I had time to start talking, but they are so unbelievably lonely, just so lonely. And I don't know how to solve that problem by what we're doing. You know, we are really, really trying. So then I said to her, you know what, you can dial a phone. How about you become a volunteer and you start calling someone else? And she goes, oh yeah, no. And I'm thinking, but that would be your socialization. So we're trying to do that as well, you know, getting those homebound because they can dial the phone, they're dialing us, you know. So, but to bring to your attention, you know, most importantly is we need volunteers, and primarily we just can't forget about our seniors that are.
Right on. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Walt, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You guys do a great job and you do a lot in Lyon County. We certainly appreciate that because we can't do it all. You know, the county on itself can't do it on. So organizations like yours definitely should be a cooperating agency kind of thing. And I certainly hope that the county is coordinating with your organization and trying to see how we can get the best benefit for our seniors. So
I appreciate that. Yes, I do.
yeah.
Yes, because we look at ourselves as a supplement, you know, to where can we help? You know, most importantly, some counties will more than that, depending on the restrictions.
It's because us and our seniors certainly need all the help we can get. So
Yeah.
thank you for what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate
Do you coordinate with our Human Services Department?
it. Yeah, so we'll get referrals for transportation, because they'll transport, you know, to Reno on certain days. So then we most definitely don't transport on those days. You know, and we'll work on that. The homemaker program, yes, we do coordinate as well with the wait list, because we're obligated, we as RSVP have the initial funding for Humboldt, Nye, Elko, White Pine, and Carson City. We're the first go-to.
Okay.
So then if we see that we have additional funds, then we'll try to take on for other counties as well. And how we get our clients is our client application has the list of all of our services. So some of the clients just go check. Well, we can't ignore that because when we get audited from the state, it's like, hey, did you reach out? So we coordinate to say, this person is needing homemaker services. They're on our wait list. Are they on yours? Yeah, on that end. So we can kind of look to see if we do have the financial means to then service. And so we do have quite a few homemaker clients in, like I said, Dayton and Fernley.
Well, thank you for what you do.
Yeah,
It's
thanks.
absolutely a much needed service.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. And I don't want to take much of your time. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we are past 9:10. Go to 6B, time certain at 9:10 for possible action. Approve a request from the Nevada Division of Water Resource providing notification that the city of Fernley filed application that proposed to change the point of diversion, place of use, and manner of use of a portion of existing permit 80184 from an underground source located in Lyon County, Nevada, to a new point of diversion and place of use in Churchill County, Nevada. Who do we have on this one?
I believe we have a representative from MV Energy online to
Oh, okay.
present this one.
Good morning, commissioners and staff. This is Mark Warden from NV Energy. Happy to be with you this morning. I believe that there's a slide deck that was previously provided to the county. If you could bring that up, I'd be happy to speak to that. Excellent. Thank you very much. If we could go to the next slide, please. So I'm here today on behalf of NV Energy, and Sierra Pacific Power Company does business as NV Energy, and we're a load serving entity here in Nevada. We are under a mandate from the Nevada revised statutes to achieve 50% of our generation from renewable resources by 2030, and with a goal of net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. In addition, we have significant load growth anticipated in the state, in particular in northern Nevada. And because of that, we are constructing an approximately 400 megawatt photovoltaic solar generation facility in Churchill County, which will also have a 400 megawatt, 1600 megawatt hour energy storage system. And this is on approximately 3,100 acres of private property, and we anticipate starting construction here in the next couple of months. The point of diversion is needed because we obtained water rights from the city of Fernley for construction water. The city of Fernley has already filed an application with the Division of Water Resources that would propose to change the point of diversion from Lyon to Churchill County under an existing permit. And this water would be used for construction temporarily, and the project would use a maximum of 250 acre feet annually during the construction phase. Next slide, please. And so the point of diversion will cross county boundaries from Lyon to Churchill County, and under the Nevada revised statute, it's required to give notice to the county that this is anticipated to occur. The Nevada revised statutes further requires that the county consider the request at a board meeting and to notify the public of the request. No action necessarily is required of the county. The obligation is to inform and to notify the county of this request at the state engineer's office. However, the Board of County Commissions can make a recommendation to the state engineer if they so desire. Next slide, please. So you can see here a map that shows the project up in the upper right portion of this photograph. You can see the pins which show 3 or 4 potential points of diversion for the water resources. Those are on the project. If you're familiar with I-80 and the geothermal plant there and the dehydration plant off of Sage Creek Hen Road, that's where our project is, just up the road on Sage Hen Creek Road. And so down below, in just right off of I-80, you can see the other yellow pin, which is the existing point of diversion. And so it would be changing from the lower pin to the upper pins. If you could, next slide, please. So we've already entered into a lease with the city of Fernley for the water rights for a maximum of 3 years, and it was approved by the city council for this project. This project will serve the residents of Nevada. The city of Fernley will receive benefits, including housing probably, and to the local economy for short term from the significant number of construction workers that will be coming in to construct the project during an approximately 1.5 to 2 year time period. And then the project will create 5 full-time jobs. And then the last slide is simply a reference to the statute if anybody wanted to review the actual terms of the statute. But that's all I had prepared for you today. I appreciate your time and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions from commissioners? Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, just one question. So after the construction period, is the point of diversion going to revert back to where it is now?
I believe that's correct. Yes, under the terms of the lease, because it would revert back to Fernley.
Thank you.
Anything further? Commissioner Jacobson.
Thank you. Just for clarity, can you go back over where exactly the solar field is going in at again?
Sure. Staff, probably if you could bring that map up again, I think that might be helpful. So if you're traveling east on I-80 from Fernley, you'll get to, I believe it's called the Sage Hen Creek exit. So if you can go, yeah, there you go. And it's actually almost right about where that I-80 sign is in the photograph. And to the right of that exit, or to the, I guess, south east of the exit is, I believe it's Brady Hot Springs Geothermal Plant, and then there's also a Olin dehydration plant on the right side of the highway. To the left, there's nothing. It's just land. And so our project is about 1.5 miles, 2 miles up Sage Hen Creek Road, which is a county road that basically runs from where that I-80 sign is on that photograph up to where those yellow dots or yellow pins are.
Right, I guess, so it's 250 acre feet of water annually. Trying to wrap my mind around, are you just using this for water trucks? I mean, how are you getting that water?
So the principal purpose of the water during construction is for dust control. So we are implementing a limited disturbance approach to the development of this project. So solar projects oftentimes will simply go in and grade the entire site, and that results in a significant use of water in order to control the dust. We are not doing that. We've agreed with the county, and it's our approach to try to be better stewards of the environment to not completely grade. We will only disturb the site to a minimal degree necessary to allow for construction. But there still will be a need, excuse me, for dust control. And so the water will be pumped, and then trucks will be used to disperse the water around the site for dust control.
So where will you be loading these water trucks? I'm assuming you're pulling the water out of the canal, is that correct?
No, we are drilling. We're still in the exploratory phase of where we will be doing this. We'll be drilling wells. We have an existing well on the site, and we have existing water rights, which we will use during operations, for our operations and maintenance building, but it's insufficient for the dust control purposes. And so we're still exploring in the investigation due diligence process of determining where those wells will go. Those 4 pins that you see on the map there are potential sites where we will drill wells. But as I said, we're still waiting for a report from our driller to determine whether or where those sites will best serve us.
Okay, I guess, and then just how deep do you think you're gonna be going?
I don't know for sure. We're still waiting on that report. We had a preliminary report, and forgive me, I don't remember the depth of those initial drills. So we're still making that final determination.
And then just one final, I was just at a IBW. How many electricians do you think you're gonna need for this project?
That's a good question. It will be an IBEW staffed project. We enter into a work site agreement, or actually we cause our engineering, procurement, and construction contractor to enter into contracts with the IBEW for construction. It'll be a few hundred, I believe. Please don't hold me to that number. I can get you that number if you're interested. I just don't know it off the top of my head because that's something that our contractor will actually be entering into those arrangements. But it will be a significant project. It's going to be a lot of short-term construction jobs there.
Yeah, roger that. Good luck finding it, because I know there's shortage, so that's all I had.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, yeah, no, I do appreciate that. You're absolutely spot on that. We did have a couple of contractors who actually declined to bid because of that concern, but I am assured by our contractor that they're in good stead. It's one of the most reputable and best contractors I think in the country. Kiewit Constructors is one of them, and so they assure me they'll be able to work it out. So, but you're right on that point though.
Commissioner Keller.
So you're leasing the water rights, drilling the well, and then after you're done, it's gonna revert back to City of Fernley back in. And so are you capping the well, or did you acquire more water rights for permanent water rights for fire suppression, road maintenance, that type of thing?
Right. We already own, when we acquired the property from the private seller, we acquired water rights with that transaction. And so we'll have to determine, I believe, to be completely transparent, exactly how we do that. But we will continue to have at least one well on site for for the water rights that we own for the purposes you indicated.
Commissioner Hendricks.
I'm not sure if there's anyone here who can answer this, but I'm wondering what the water is currently being used for?
I don't know if that question was directed towards me, but I can answer it. They weren't in use at currently. There were water rights that were not being used for any purpose, and so there's a great benefit, I think, to the city to be able to take assets that were not being utilized and receive some revenue for those.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Public input on this? It is an action item. Seeing none, let's move on to a motion for 6B. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve a request from the Nevada Division of Water Resources providing notification that the City of Fernley filed applications that propose to change the point of diversion, place of use, and manner of use of a portion of existing permit 80184 from an underground source located in Lyon County, Nevada, to a new point of diversion and place of use in Churchill County, Nevada.
Okay,
Second.
second, okay.
I've got a question,
Oh, okay, another question.
not to stop that, but
That's right.
we don't, so we have to approve a request? Yeah, I don't understand that because we get the option to do something if we need to, but I don't understand why we're approving something.
I think it's on page 2 of this presentation.
Andrew Haskin, Lyon County Manager. So that is a good question because in the presentation, it was worded a little bit differently. We got this agenda language from the agenda item that was placed on Churchill County's agenda. So I think it's not necessarily approving a request, it's making a recommendation, which this item doesn't state. So
That's what I was,
yeah, so I would actually probably recommend not taking action. It's optional anyway.
thank you.
Yes, the statement on the second page, I think, was what they're bringing up is that those commissions that are involved are going to take action of some type. So
Yeah, obviously this is
Yeah.
not something that frequently.
so the recommendation at this point is just to move on with.
So, yeah.
Just table the item, bring it back, just throw it out and not worry about it. No
Yeah.
action.
I would recommend just not taking it.
Okay,
Well, then procedurally, I will withdraw my motion.
I'll withdraw my second.
all right.
Perfect, thank you.
And I'll cross both of those out on my list.
Right?
All right, so no action will be taken on six B.
Okay.
So we'll move on to six C. Time certain. Oh, go ahead. Oh,
Thought he put his hand up.
oh, yeah, go ahead,
Thumb.
Mr. Warden. Yeah, oh, you have a thumb? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you, commissioners and staff. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm sorry for the confusion and appreciate your service. Thank you.
Okay. Appreciate the input from Nevada Energy. All right, so we are going down to six C, time certain at 9:20 a.m. for possible action. Presentation given by Jeff Brownell from Himley Horn and to adopt the North Silver Springs Area Drainage Master Plan.
Okay, all right, good morning, commissioners. So I'm here to present the area drainage master plan for North Silver Springs. This project was funded through FEMA grant and managed by Carson Water Sub-Conservancy District. And you all are the project owners on this. I'm Jeff Brownell with Kinley Horn. We were hired as the engineering consultant to execute this project. So the area that we're looking at, or the area that we did look at, right, is on this slide here. The bigger blue area is kind of the overall contributing watershed. And we were focused on the North Silver Springs area there, so the area kind of there outlined in red around Highway 50. And here's that area with the aerial image underlaid. You see again, focus really around the airport, Highway 50, and then the North Silver Springs residential areas there. So the purpose of this project was really to more accurately define flood hazards. And that includes kind of nuisance flooding in the area. So not just the main flooding sources, but also kind of that more localized look at potential flood hazards. We wanted to build on existing studies that have been completed, so we're not wasting money and reinventing the wheel. So we certainly leverage that. And then, overall, we want to ultimately reduce flood hazards and increase resiliency of this area. So our goals for the project were to identify mitigation solutions, right, that would positively impact flood flows. But in doing that, we also wanted to make sure that the project formulation was such that projects could qualify for future grant funding opportunities. And then ultimately reducing flood hazards. So the way we accomplished this was through kind of comprehensive hydrology and hydraulic modeling, using two-dimensional modeling techniques, so kind of current technology. This modeling approach produces depths, velocities, flow directions, that sort of thing, at a very finite level, on a grid by grid kind of level of detail, right? And so these models can be updated and revised in the future as development occurs, or to explore the impacts of potential projects. They can be used for design and planning review, and they can be used by you all, by engineers, by homeowners, that sort of thing in the future. So provide you a really good overlay of flood hazard determination that's not just applicable to this project, but can be used, in the future. This is what the current FEMA effective special flood hazard area looks like for North Silver Springs. I know I think there's a map revision in process right now with FEMA that will change this somewhat, but it's still fairly significant for this area. So this was one of our kind of main focuses, is what kind of projects could mitigate the FEMA floodplain overlay. This is what our modeling looks like from an existing conditions 100-year depth standpoint. And so it, for the most part, mimics the FEMA flood maps. You can see there's significant impacts there to the airport, upstream of Highway 50 and then through the residential area there, before it kind of drains, under the railroad there and into the wetland area. So back about a little bit over a year ago, we did hold a public meeting in the area to try to kind of garner or try to solicit input from residents of where they're seeing flood impacts and that sort of thing. So in May, we presented our kind of initial conditions modeling, collected input. There was 9 people that attended in person. And then we also held a separate virtual meeting that was more stakeholder focused. So kind of some of the big land holders in the area, that sort of thing, to kind of give them an update on the project as well. And that was well attended. You could see 23 virtual attendees with that. And so the intent of this was really to introduce the project and get feedback from folks on flooding and that sort of thing. So we allowed residents to mark up maps in person, and the 9 folks that did show up, there was kind of limited data that we generated from that. There was flooding along Spruce Avenue, and that was kind of really the extent of it, what we were able to get from the public. But we did answer a lot of questions, present the project. We provided other means to provide feedback in the future, as email and website to submit data. That sort of thing. And then all the information that we did collect is housed in the study report. We also queried Lyon County maintenance staff as far as what they're seeing out in the field for problem areas. And that's what this map here is displaying. And this is also housed in the study report. And you can see there's a number of locations that maintenance staff have identified that are reoccurring problem areas after storm events. Most of this, almost all of this, is kind of road overtopping, sediment deposition, that sort of thing. So we didn't spend a lot of time looking at these problem areas from a future project standpoint, because really this is, upsizing culverts, that sort of thing. So we didn't want to spend a lot of project resources on looking at upsizing culverts at road crossings, when that can be accomplished. We know the problem locations that can be accomplished through the design package, right? So our solutions and recommendations really focused on regional projects and projects that could qualify for grant funding. We wanted to alleviate or reduce flooding along the highway as a major transportation corridor, and at the airport as a kind of a to mitigate those impacts to commerce, right? And then also we wanted to reduce the flood hazard downstream of 95A in the residential area that is now currently impacted by the FEMA floodplain overlay. Our design goals were 100-year protection, because that's kind of a key for grant funding, right? And then to really utilize potential open space, county property, existing features, that sort of stuff, because recognizing that acquiring right of way would be a big hurdle for any project as they advance. There was a channel downstream of 95A. Currently, we wanted to size infrastructure upstream such that we match that channel capacity, so that we weren't contemplating channel improvements, because right now the roads are dip crossings through there. And so having to put in, 100-year crossings, box culverts, that sort of thing would probably be cost prohibitive. So we were trying to match that existing channel capacity. So what we came up with was a series of large regional basins. The first set of basins is upstream of Highway 50, and you can see that on the left there. It's kind of 3-tiered basins because of the topography and the slope. And then another basin downstream of the airport, upstream of 95A there. And these series of basins in conjunction with each other would reduce the 100-year flood flows to the channel capacity downstream of 95. This is what it looks like zoomed in with the existing kind of flooding, 100-year flooding overlaid there. And there are conceptual plans housed in the report as well. And then here's the large basin just downstream of the airport. Here's what it looks like kind of from a zoomed out perspective and the footprints of the basin. And then this map also shows the proposed 100-year flood flows with the basins in place. And so you can see that they're significantly reduced. There's still some flooding there, kind of right at Highway 50 across from the airport. And that's from contributing flows that are in between the upstream basin and the downstream basin. That sort of thing, but they're highly reduced for sure. And then you can see downstream of 95A there, that flow is contained in the channel. So this is what it looks like kind of from a cost standpoint and in a number standpoint, and this is kind of stuff that we use to really determine whether this would be a grant fundable project through federal grant programs. The number of properties impacted was almost 600 with almost 2,300 residents positively impacted, right? There's some cost benefit there, and then the project cost, both are pretty close around that kind of 50 million mark. And then a maintenance cost, but all that pencils out to a benefit cost ratio of 1.04, which is above the 1 threshold that is typically required for federal grants. I will say that this is kind of a conservative look at things because we did not include really kind of the disruption to transportation along the Highway 50 corridor or at the airport, recognizing that we were already over 1 and that in the future, as a grant application was developed, those factors could be incorporated to boost that up even higher. I think that's it. I will defer that kind of first bullet to you all and to staff, but I will say that that second bullet there, I know you all and CWSD have applied for another project through FEMA to look at the South Silver Springs area. That I would anticipate is going to be more kind of that local flooding and not this big kind of flooding source coming from Ramsey Canyon. And so that may be an opportunity to kind of overlay the two studies and look more at that neighborhood level, where they kind of converge.
Questions?
Yeah, you were talking about the different areas of Silver Springs, but does it ever go from Spruce down to the other side?
As far as flood flows?
Yeah, does it ever actually make it down to
It
the,
actually does not, and that's
Yeah.
one of the things. So you can see here on this map that south kind of flood condition there. You can almost see on the aerial photography there that you can see kind of how that flow distributes south of our boundary line. It doesn't really make it into the south residential areas per se, and that's kind of why we limited it where we limited it.
Yes. Commissioner Henderson?
Who owns the land where you're planning on putting in these basins?
So I think the county in both cases, and that's what we were looking at. We didn't want to do this on private property. There was a location that was NDOT property, but that seemed to be a little bit problematic as well. So these are both county parcels.
And then once this plan is adopted, how is that going to impact development?
It won't immediately. So the plan is just a plan, right? It just gives a framework for what may be feasible in the future with grant funding and that sort of thing. Gives county staff the opportunity to, kind of take this to the next phase and look for those opportunities with this technical kind of backing, the model supported by the modeling and that sort of thing. That said, sorry, that said, and then kind of what I was talking about in the beginning, that within this area, right, we have this modeling overlay or modeling support that county staff can use to help regulate development outside of this plan, right? You have good flood depths and elevations to be able to help folks set finished floors and that sort of thing as new development occurs.
That'll be kind of, if I may.
Commissioner Hendricks?
My question was, the basin east of the airport, is that going to conflict with our plans for the wastewater treatment plant at all? The basin that's east of the airport, is that gonna conflict with our plans for the wastewater treatment plant at all?
David Burketta for the record. So it not conflict, but this is really good information because what we are doing is looking at alternate disposal sites. And I think the important thing to gather out of this is, you know, one of the for our wastewater treatment, we dispose of our effluent just south of the airport and it's in a floodway. So it's important. That's why we're looking for alternative sources and ways to get rid of it. So it doesn't conflict. I think it just highlights some of the problems that we currently do have. And then we can help address those further.
Okay.
So I think this is helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah, Commissioner Henderson had another question.
Andrew Haskin, Lyon County Manager. So I do want to provide just a little bit of clarification on the impacts for development. And that once this is adopted, we will be working, developers will have to comply with certain portions of the area drainage master plan and build improvements that are envisioned in this, if it is within the boundaries of their development. So I do want to make that clarification. It's currently how we operate things in Dayton, and we are currently working on updating our drainage guidelines. That'll be before the board at a future date. It'll explain how that's going to go.
Yeah,
Commissioner
thank you,
Henderson.
Mr. Yeah, my concern is the area guidelines, the study guidelines. You know, just north of that area is a lot that's going to be developed. And so I just want to make sure that we're not going to impact that negatively.
Gotcha. Yeah,
That's going to be a lot of income, a lot of jobs coming to Lyon County.
and I think that's outside of the scope of this particular area drainage master plan. It's really taking a look at the everything that's taking place in Silver Spring. So
I'm done.
Yeah, Commissioner Keller.
So looking at that lower basin, how much are you planning on dropping that to create a basin?
Yeah, that's, it's fairly significant. You can see the kind of conceptual contours there. I think it's going down maybe 8-12 feet. But the problem is daylighting into the channel downstream, right? There's an existing culvert under the highway there, and we have to be able to drain through that, but then also daylight and drain the basin, because there was concern about a wetland scenario and birds in the airport and that sort of thing. So we wanted to make sure that, at least for the conceptual plan, that this basin would drain in a reasonable amount of time. And so the improvements contemplate kind of a bleed off pipe that you can see it there dashed. That would be necessary at the bottom of the basin, and that's, you can go pretty far downstream to be able to daylight into the existing channel and drain the base. So it's a lot of dirt for sure.
Yeah, well, what we've done in the past is we've had a lot of plants and stuff out there and spread it out to slow it down.
Yeah.
And our main problem's right there at the highway, which is NDOT property. And if we fill up just a pond, it's not going to slow down anything once it reaches a certain level. And that's going to be a big impact. So that's why I was asking.
Yeah, it operates in conjunction with the existing culvert, so it's not really a big pond per se. It's more of a detention scenario that's storing and running off at the same time, so that you kind of reduce the hydrograph peak, that sort of thing. And it all works in conjunction with the outlet channel.
But basically, you're looking at 8 to 12 feet deep
Yeah.
over an area that is approximately 1,800 feet. You know, basic north, south, east, west.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
I think it's about 600 acre feet of storage. It's significant. And a lot of the cost is driven by the haul off of the dirt
Mhm.
and the assumptions we had to make therein. If this project comes to fruition and there's a closer location to haul off dirt, then that would significantly reduce the project costs.
Okay,
When you do those basins, can they be used for something else? Well, or is it just a hole in the depression? I'm just curious.
I have certainly seen basins be used for, multi-use functions, parks,
That's what I was wondering. If
fields.
temporary
that sort of
parks and
thing.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
Absolutely.
Anything further? Any public input on the plan? Seeing none. This is an action item. I need a motion on this one. You want to read me a motion?
Mr. Chair, I will move that we adopt the North Silver Springs Area Drainage Master Plan.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Henderson, second by Commissioner Keller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Take 5.
Yeah, we can take 5 minutes. Let's go till 10:10. I'll give Rob 1 more minute. See if he's outside. There he is. It's 11 minutes after 10. We are reconvening. We're at 6D, the time certain 10 a.m. Presentation given by Matt Mortensen with Silver Springs Mutual Water Company on the possible grant submittal to Community Development Block Grant for fiscal year 2025-2026.
Morning,
Yes.
Erin Lopez, Grant Administrator.
Disclose.
I'm sorry.
I just wanted to make a disclosure on this item.
Okay,
That
go ahead.
I sit on that, the Silver Springs Mutual Water Company Board of Directors. And I'm also, my wife is a real estate broker in the area, and some of these might cross properties that she represents, but there's no pecuniary interest on our part. So I just want to disclose that.
Thank you.
I will be voting.
Erin Lopez for the record. I just wanted to welcome Matt here this morning. He is the solo applicant so far this year for the grant funds so we have some time until submission. So if there are other applicants who would like to get some applications moving forward. But other than that, I just wanted to give you a quick update. And if you've had any other questions for me, if not, I will turn it over to Matt.
Thank you.
Good morning, Lyon County Board of Commissioners, through the chair. My name is Matt Martinson. I'm the general manager for Silver Springs Mutual Water Company. I'd like to start my presentation by thanking Lyon County Board of County Commissioners for a successful CDBG project that we were awarded in 2021-22. And that was the Silver Spring Mutual Water Company's mainline valve renovation project. And it was a good, successful project that greatly enhanced the operations of our public water system. I'm here today to hopefully gain your support with another project that we put together. This project is titled Silver Spring Mutual Water Company Fire Hydrant Enhancement Project. It's pretty simple, but there'll be a little bit of work behind this. This project is comprised of adding a total of 13 new fire hydrants to the existing Silver Spring Mutual Water Company system. The project will take place east of Highway 95 and south of Highway 50. It's in the more congested area of Silver Springs. We'd like to use CDBG funds to purchase the fire hydrants and all other necessary hardware to accommodate the installation of said hydrants. And the in-kind portion of this project would be the Silver Spring Mutual Water Company field staff to perform the installation of the hydrants, which equates to man hours and equipment. And if there's any questions, I'd be more than willing to answer. Aaron was going to put a map up of the. Oh. And if not, I don't know if you guys were presented with a copy of the map. I also put forth a letter of recommendation from Central Lyon Fire District.
Yeah, we did have a map here with the locations of the fire hydrants. Commissioner Jacobson.
Thank you, Chairman Hockaday. In reading that, your presentation, it said the recommendation is 500 feet in between fire hydrants. Is that what I read?
That is what's recommended. It's not absolutely achievable at this point. We're gonna be into more compliance. We can't achieve full compliance with the current placing and the structure of our system. But we will be increasing access points that will greatly enhance for risk of fire and safety, health of the system.
Right on.
That 500 foot is not a staunch requirement. Fire hydrant placement lies in the purview of Central Lyon Fire District. And so they dictate fire hydrant placement. That's current regulation. I don't know in the past what occurred when how these locations that are depicted in the map were missed and not populated with a hydrant.
Right on. Thank you.
Commissioner Keller, anything? Nothing? Okay, we thank you for the presentation.
Yep, thank you for your time and consideration. Have a good
Okay.
day.
Mr. Chair. I
Yeah.
do have a question.
Oh,
For Aaron.
hold on
For Aaron.
for Mrs. Lopez.
We just had a quick closing comment. Moving forward past this point, if we don't have any other application presentations, we'll be bringing this back for a vote at a later time after eligibility closes. So
Thank you,
Questions?
Mr. Chair. What's the deadline for applications?
I believe eligibility is due in October. So between now and then, as long as they can get their application done, we can still.
Can you verify that and email that to me? So I just, so I know.
Yep. That up.
Anything further? Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to item 7, presentation of awards and a recognition of accomplishments. I don't believe we have anything today. So we'll move on to 8, Commissioner and County Manager reports. Let's start with Commissioner Jacobson.
Thank you, Chairman Hockaday. First of all, I want to apologize for not being here at the last meeting. Last second trip to Minnesota, went to see a bunch of old college football buddies in a reunion golf tournament and got to see some old coaches. And don't think any of us from back in the day are scaring anybody anymore. So it was fun, but I do apologize for being on short on the line as I had to catch a flight home. But with that, I did attend the NACO Public Health Governance workshop. Saw Mr. Keller sitting there. I was via Zoom. And guess I won't go too in depth on that, but also attended the Jamie King Foundation. Money goes to helping youth from all over Northern Nevada. Also kids battling illnesses in their families. So want to thank their family for putting on that horseshoe tournament and fishing derby and helping out various youth in their times of need and for those kids helping get a leg up in some of the other sporting activities. And then finally, just could not do anything Saturday, Fernstock happening, sponsored by the Fernley Community Foundation, and kind of a music festival this Saturday. If you're around, want to hit that. Also, getting ready for fall, Lyon County Fair, high school football, volleyball, cross country. Getting all those kids going and active again and getting numbers up after COVID wiped them down a little bit. So like to see everybody participating and staying active. That's all I have, sir.
Okay, Commissioner Keller.
I was like Commissioner Jacobson said, I was at the NACO workshop on public health government. I also attended the Smart from the Start Consortium. They'll go back to the public lands with some information for NACO. Attended the Lyon County Planning Commission yesterday. And last week, the Fernley City Council, and listened to some their problems that they're having and which direction they want to go on certain things. So it was fun little meeting. That's all I got to say.
Okay, Commissioner Hendricks. Come on, yeah, let's start that. in.
I attended the Silver Springs Advisory Board, the Stagecoach Advisory Board, and met with the county manager and Commissioner Keller with the Lieutenant Governor to discuss a possible bill that he may be bringing forward on agricultural tourism. And I met with Ed James from the Carson Water Subconservancy District to talk about a possible path forward to be bringing physical water to Silver Springs for future development.
Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not much to report. I attended the Mound House Advisory Board last week, and it was actually a very, very short meeting, which is different for them. And I attended the camp, I also attended the Planning Commission meeting, at least part of it, for I had to leave early to take care of some business. And last night I attended the Campo meeting, but that was also very short and sweet. So that's all I have.
Okay. Quite a few things going on this last couple of weeks. January 4th, Congressman Amodei was in Smith Valley, discussed a couple of things, especially the emergency communications situation that's going on with some of our ham operators and some new federal guidelines that are going to probably really push them to the limit on maybe even dropping out from that emergency net. Went to the park board for Smith Valley, the agenda review board, and the Smith Valley advisory board. Also to the health board with NACO. A discussion on our health board obligations here. Talked with the chairman of the park board in Smith Valley and Mr. Homestead and Mr. Foley about the bicycles that are going on our brand new courts at Dressler Park and trying to figure out a way to keep them off. We'll start with signs because we don't want to ruin that basically $70,000 new court with them going in and ripping up the surface of that area. So we're going to have to work on that a little bit and make sure that we're not having any damage to that pickleball, tennis court, and basketball court. And that's about it for me. We're on with the county manager report.
Andrew Haskin, Lyon County Manager. So first off, obviously the Lyon County Fair and Rodeo is this weekend, so I encourage everybody to attend. It's always a good time. Ticket sales are available online. And some of the events do typically sell out, so get your tickets now and ahead of time. This year, something that's different is you can buy your overall wristband for getting into the fair online, so that's cool. I also attended a meeting with the Lieutenant Governor's office talking about a potential BDR that they're putting in. They've requested some input. Tomorrow, I will be meeting with the Director of NDOT to discuss various issues on Lyon County highways, kind of in preparation for an agenda item that I plan to bring forward in the near future regarding policy statements on our highways. So with that, happy to answer any questions.
Questions for the manager? No?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. All of them. All right. Elected official reports. Oh, nothing today, sir. Okay. Moving along, appointed official reports.
Good morning, Gavin Henderson, Lyon County Community Development Director. Just wanted to give my monthly report. First, wanted to start off with just some performance metrics for the building department as well as the planning department. Building department permits, we processed 102 new permits processed since the last July 18 Board of County Commissioners meeting. We also performed 614 inspections since that time period. So our guys are out there working their tails off, which is awesome, and development is obviously. Planning department, we received 12 applications since the July 15th submittal application date. Those application types, we have 3 conditional use permits, 3 zoning map amendments, 1 abandonment, 1 reversion to acreage, 1 final subdivision map, 1 final parcel map, 1 administrative design review, and 1 master plan amendment. So a lot of work coming forward. As far as personnel, the Community Development Department has filled our Planning Department Administrative Assistant position. So that's awesome. We hired Miss Brandy Lathrop. She's been here for 2 weeks already, and she's been an immense asset to us. So we appreciate all the work she's done so far. Code enforcement position, the position is still open. Interviews were conducted this week, so we're looking forward to reviewing the applicants and moving forward. Projects, as stated in the previous ADMP presentation, we are doing an update to the 2018 drainage guidelines to include relative drainage guidelines associated with those area drainage master plans. That will be brought forward in one of the September meetings. We just have to work out which one is going to be best available for Dow to come into the presentation, the county engineer. Stagecoach ADMP, so Taylor Allison, thank you very much. She aided in providing a media release to the public meeting to be held at the Silver Springs Senior Center on Tuesday, September 17th for the Stagecoach Area Drainage Master Plan. Due to scheduling conflicts, the Stagecoach Community Center was unavailable, so this was the next best place to hold the event. So participants should look forward to hearing from the drainage experts on the study results, the mitigation alternatives, and the overall value of the proposed plan to the community. Also attached to that, the final version will be brought to the September 19th board meeting for review and adoption as well. With that, is there any questions?
Questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Looks like Mr. Homestead on Zoom.
Good morning, commissioners. This is Doug Homestead for the record, facility director. Just want to let you know that the district court moved in a couple weeks ago. They're holding court now there. We're having some issues with the cooling system, the coolers, HVACs. They got the contractor coming out Monday to address all those, but we do have a trial going on there, so it's been a little warm for them up there. And we're still receiving, the contractor's still working on some issues in the building, and hopefully they'll be done here in the next week or two. Dressler Park, we finally, like Commissioner Huckabee said, we finished the courts. They look really nice, but the kids want to get on there with bicycles and make tire tracks all over them. So we're going to address that issue with some signs and see if that works. If not, we'll have to put some type of gate they can't drive through with their bicycles. The fair is this week, so the fair boards have been busy out there getting it ready, along with my facilities guys, and go out and enjoy the event out there. And we got the never-ending problem with weeds everywhere. I know the cemeteries are looking bad. We're doing what we can, but we actually don't own the plots that people are buried in. They're owned by the owners. But we've had a cruise up there several times now with the help of the inmate crews and volunteers cleaning them, and they're looking a little better, but hopefully we'll get a better handle on it after. This is the worst year for weeds we've ever had, I think. That's all I really have.
Any questions? Thank you, sir. Mr. Foley.
Puritan Slim.
It's a piece of string.
Yeah.
Josh Foley, Lyon County Comptroller for the record, just to reiterate what Mr. Homestead said, fair rodeos this weekend, come out, enjoy yourself, bring family members, have a good time. A couple of other things to bring to your attention. The Friendly Justice Court Complex, we're moving forward with the final pieces of the building permit, so we anticipate going out to bid in September, bringing it back to the board to award in October, and doing notice to proceed in November if all the planets align properly. So keep our fingers crossed, and we'll move forward with that. One other item that'll be coming to you in the future, we have a couple of appraiser trainees in the assessor's department, and traditionally they spend a couple of years in that until they get trained and pass their certifications and licensing that they need to do. We have one of them that has passed their certifications in a very short time, and so when their anniversary date comes up in October, they would qualify to get a promotion that we didn't budget for because we didn't anticipate it happening so quickly. So we have at least one that will be coming to you. for the promotion and possibly two, and it's approximately $3,300 each that we would be asking for contingency funding, just because it's in the job description. But that's all I have for you. I'm trying not to give you any bad news.
Well, that's different.
Any questions up here? Okay, I'll let you get back to your horse. Any other appointed officials? Seeing none. Advisory board reports. Nobody jumping up here. Don't see anything on Zoom. And we'll go to item 12, consent agenda. Action will be taken on all items. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and may be acted upon by the Board of County Commissioners with one action and without an extensive hearing. Any member of the board or any citizen may request that an item be taken from the consent agenda, discussed and acted upon separately during this meeting. All right, looks like items 12A through 12G. Do we have a motion on the consent agenda or any changes to the consent agenda from the commissioners or the public? Seeing none.
Chairman Hockaday, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda 12A through 12G as presented.
Second,
Second. Who seconded it over here?
I did.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Jacobson and a second by Commissioner Hendricks. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. We won't move on to the regular agenda. Item 13, utilities. 13A for possible action, approve a deed of dedication from River Rock 2015 LLC for parcel A of a subdivision map for River Park Phase 3, Unit 17B and 18 that is currently the site for Lyon County Utilities Department Well 21.
Commissioners, David Burketta for the record. Yeah, so what this deed does is just transfers the property from the developer to the county. We have a well, a municipal production well on that site. So they're going to transfer it to Lyon County. And this will be then recorded concurrently with the final map. The final map actually creates this parcel. In your packet is a legal description of the parcel. So we'll need this as, having, since we have a production well on that site. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Have any questions up here? Public input on this? I'll look for a motion on 13A.
I move that we approve a deed of dedication from River Park 2015 LLC for parcel A of a subdivision map for River Park Phase 3, Unit 17B and 18 that is currently the site for Lyon County Utilities Department's Well 21.
Second?
Second.
Okay, we'll go with Commissioner Henderson. So motion by Commissioner Hendricks, second by Commissioner Henderson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Community development. For possible action, approve the release of the maintenance bond currently held for Point Legato Phase 2A and 2B subdivision. Yes,
Gavin Emerson, Lyon County Community Development Director. Just want to come up here in case there's any questions on that.
any questions on the item? Any public input on this item? Seeing none, we'll go to the motion.
I move that we approve the release of the maintenance bond currently held for Point Legato Phase 2A and 2B subdivision.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hendricks, second by Commissioner Jacobson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Human Services. Dr. Holmes coming up. 15A for possible action, approve a contract between Lyon County and SD Huerta Foursquare Clinicals in an amount not to exceed $27,040 to provide medical services and oversight to individuals receiving professionally identified prescription medication needs with the Lyon County Resilient Families Program. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Dr. Shayla Holmes for the record. This contract is with the same individual who is partnering with our MOST team doing the medication assisted treatment and medication management for our individuals connected to that program. We wanted to extend this also to work with our youth and families that are experiencing risk or substance misuse through the Lyon County Resilient Families. It reduces the barrier to being able to access medication that aids with behavioral health issues, both substance related and mental illness.
Okay. Any questions from commissioners? Any public input? Seeing none, motion on 15A. Okay,
I move to approve a contract between Lyon County and ST Herta, Herta, Foursquare Clinicals in the amount not to exceed $27,040 to provide medical services and oversight to individuals receiving professional identified prescription medication needs with the Lyon County Resilient Families Program.
have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Keller and second by Commissioner Jacobson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Move on with their next one here. 15B for possible action, approve a contract between Lyon County and Hay Frank LLC in an amount not to exceed $271,719.74 to execute a public health marketing campaign. Services are funded through Senate Bill 118, which makes an appropriation to the Division of Public and Behavioral Health of the Department of Health and Human Services for allocation to specified entities for the improvement of public health.
Again, Shayla Holmes for the record. We received 5 proposals in our official RFP for public health marketing campaign, and we had a committee score and review those, and Hay Frank was the by far highest scoring proposal. So we're really excited to be able to work with Hay Frank, who seem very innovative and very anxious to get going on this campaign to start proving outcomes from this type of public health approach.
Commissioner. Hey, Commissioner Hendricks.
I just have a question. Are our services currently underused?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. So we are getting ready to do another 5-year strategic plan within the Human Services Department, but our previous strategic plan was 2019 to 2024. And one of the #1 issues cited was that individuals were not aware of services available to them. And then secondarily, access to those services. So we try our hardest to implement, as you see through all of the different things we bring to you, how we can reduce access, how much we can bring to them in the community. We've been able to increase our transportation by double within this 5-year strategic plan that we're just coming out of, but making the community aware of services that are actually out there. When you attend public forums where we're talking about public health and human services, most of the time individuals are saying, oh, I wish we had this. And then my staff are saying, oh, but we do that. And we're missing something in the middle. And so being able to do this public health marketing campaign is able to address a large variety of different issues. And as you guys saw at the Board of Health last meeting, things such as safe driving campaigns can happen through this. Things such as sexually transmitted infections can happen through this. So we're able to touch a lot of the issues that we're seeing through this campaign, and that is our goal, to be able to have a widespread umbrella campaign that touches on a variety of different pieces.
Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Jacobson.
Thank you, Chairman Hockley. Nice to have you with us, Doctor. Appreciate your time. So Dr. Holmes, Lyon County received 271,000 and change. Is that correct? How much was the total pot of money? My goodness.
Oh, yeah, my goodness, indeed. If you give me just a second, I can see if I can find that pretty quickly. It was fairly significant. Let's see here. It might take me a minute to find.
Well, I guess that was just a lead up to my next question. So how much? So we received 271,000. I can only imagine what this total statewide was, but how much do they hold back as administrative fees on something like this?
In regards to the contractor or the state?
The state.
I don't believe the state is holding on to any of these funds. So the way that SB 118 worked was it allocated a significant portion of dollars towards public health. And the state gave the option to the rural counties of whom they serve right now, all our public health, outside of central Nevada is operated by the state. So we had the option to leave the monies with the state and allow them to identify how they wanted to utilize them, or to do this interlocal agreement, which you guys approved a couple meetings ago,
Right.
to allow counties to identify what they would like to utilize those monies on. And so this was, for this amount of money at this stage where we're at without having our own public health district, limited ability to implement, because really 271,000 in regards to implementing a new program, bringing out a doctor, anything like that isn't a lot. And so although we did receive a significant amount compared to some of our sister counties, it's really not a lot for us to be able to do a huge public health implementation. So, the state's not reserving any monies unless other counties such as, say, Esmeralda, I'm speaking on their behalf right now, I really don't know what they decided to do. But if they decided to leave their dollars with the state, then the state has those funds available through SB 118, but those are there for the specific purpose of the counties who decided to reserve their funds to the state to do something with.
Thank you. That's good. You don't have to look it up. I was just curious as.
Anything further? Think I was on the same wavelength. That's a lot of money for advertising and marketing when we probably need a lot more money for services.
Right.
Okay. And I know that's designated for that, but it just seems like a ton of bucks when we need to have people help. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Since you brought it up, yeah, I'm gonna be a no on this because I can't vote for spending over $250,000 on a marketing campaign. But we got needs, so I'm a no.
So if you could give me just a moment, I have your dollar amount. The Nevada total was 1,455,000, and that's for the rural counties. And then Central Nevada, Northern Nevada, and Southern Nevada. And then the Division of Public and Behavioral Health received 15 million. So the rural counties received 1,455,000 total, which includes us for the 271. And then the Division of Public and Behavioral Health and the health districts received 15 million combined. So the Southern Nevada received almost 11 million on their own. So that's that piece. And the SB 118 interlocal contract, you guys already approved for the purpose of marketing. So at this point in time, we would either have to cancel that contract and go back and come up with something else, but we are limited in the amount of time that we're able to spend these funds.
Well, Chairman, if I may,
Yeah, go ahead.
I agree. This is a lot of money for advertising, but if it's going to help in the long run, educate or get word out to some of our, especially elderly citizens, right? That's who you're targeting?
We're targeting each
All
campaign
ages?
will have a specific target population, but they are absolutely one of them. And we're putting together a committee of individuals from the county to identify what our top priorities for this campaign would be. And when I presented to the Board of Examiners, the governor and his team were very excited to see what the potential outcomes were from this type of approach.
Right. And then to receive 270 some thousand out of the 1.4 out of all the rurals, we had to have done, you had to have gotten the larger than any of the other rurals. So good job on that, Dr. Holmes.
It had nothing to do with me. It had to do with our population. It was population formula based. And this year in this legislative session, they will be looking to solidify SB 118 monies and attempt to make a base plus population. So they are looking to try to get it more evenly distributed, such as that 15 million coming out of the health districts and being better distributed amongst the rural counties.
And then down the road, do you foresee the money being more towards, less towards advertising and more towards actual boots on the ground, helping, doing stuff?
Yeah, if this becomes regular, consistent dollars of which we were uncertain of with this bucket of money, we could better prepare. It's tough to implement services for 1 year because you spend a lot of your time creating those and then you only spend a few months actually implementing. So if these monies become regular and consistent, then we can actually move forward with a dedicated contractor or hiring staff or doing things that could better serve the public health needs. So we'll wait and see if they're gonna be consistent and regular, because that will certainly make a difference. And then if it's gonna be a baseline plus population formula, then we'd be able to get a better idea as far as how much we get each session or each 2 years. So that way we can figure that out. The 271, just so you guys know, is for 2 years. So that's divided by 2 as far as what that looks like on an annual basis. But we'll see coming out of this legislative session if it's going to be consistent, if it's going to get increased, and then we would be better prepared on how to do it. That was the other thing with these SB 118 monies. We were uncertain how the state was going to do them with the rurals when they originally proposed the legislation, and when it was approved, it was for health districts. So we weren't planning on spending the money, and then it released and said you have about 35 days to find out what you're going to do with it and approve it. And knowing that one of our number one needs is awareness, we decided to tackle it from that.
Okay, Commissioner Keller.
Well, I know how hard it is to reach people in this county. We don't have actually a way to reach anybody in this county. It's extremely hard. I know that from running political campaigns, that you can sit there and run it all day and spend a lot of money, and then one block over, no one knows what's going on. So I appreciate this, and I'll be voting for it, supporting it.
Well, I support getting the word out. My concern was it's a lot of money looking at the other services that we have to neglect. So certainly in government, if you don't take it and use it, you lose it and go somewhere else. So, all right. Any public input on this? If not,
Chairman Hockaday, I'll make a motion to approve a contract between Lyon County and Hay Frank LLC in the amount not to exceed $271,719.74 to execute a public health marketing campaign. Services are funded through SB Senate Bill 118, which makes an appropriation to the Division of Public and Behavioral Health of the Department of Health and Human Services for allocation to specified entities for the improvement of public health.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Jacobson, second by Commissioner Keller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
All right. Motion passes 4 for the nay with Commissioner Henderson. Okay, 16, emergency management for possible action, accept the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Public Assistance Disaster 4708 Award from the Nevada Office of Military Division of Emergency Management for project number 723984, emergency protective measures costs that occurred between March 8 through 19, 2023, in the amount of $43,112.06, with a county match of $10,778.02, and to authorize the emergency manager to sign and grant award.
Good morning, Taylor Allison, Lyon County Emergency Manager for the record. I previously presented to the commission on our 5 public assistance projects that we submitted to FEMA for reimbursement. This is number 2 of 5 for our parks that had damages during that time period presented, including Dressler, Rolling A Open Space Park, the walking trail at Santa Maria Park, and Hillcrest Cemetery. I did want to clarify the match on this sub-award is for funds that have already been spent for the repairs for these specific projects. And so that's not new match for this particular project. And happy to answer any questions.
Question?
That was my question. Good job.
Okay. So no further questions here. Any public input on this item? Just thank you for your efforts on working the paperwork and getting these grants awarded. All right, I'll take a motion. Do I have a motion on 16A?
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept a Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Public Assistance Disaster 4708 Award from the Nevada Office of the Military Division of Emergency Management for project number 723984, emergency protective measures costs that occurred between March 8th and 19th, 2023, in the amount of $43,112.06, with a county match of $10,778.02, and to authorize the emergency manager to sign the grant award.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Henderson, a second by Commissioner Keller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. 16B for possible action, approve an interlocal agreement between Lyon County and the city of Yerington for Lyon County Emergency Management to provide emergency management services, and the city of Yerington to provide $2,000 per year for a term of 5 years with an automatic renewal for an additional 2 years. Go ahead.
Again, Taylor Allison, Lyon County Emergency Manager for the record. This interlocal agreement, in my opinion, solidifies the relationship between the county and the city of Yerington when it comes to the provision of emergency management services. NRS Chapter 414 requires that counties have emergency management programs, however, cities are not. So we did ask for a minimal cost of $2,000 per year from the city to contribute to training materials and emergency operations center supplies. The interlocal agreement was approved by the Yerington City Council on their meeting on Monday, the 12th this month.
Question?
Any questions?
Okay. Any public input? And I know you're working with them. Go ahead, Commissioner Jacobson.
Thank you. Chatting with, do some counties share like White Pine and Eureka County? Do they share your job?
Most do not, to answer your question. Most counties have their own emergency manager. It doesn't mean it's full-time emergency management program. It may be embedded in fire or in other agencies. So currently, most are their own. Some cities do, like the city of Elko, for example, as well as the county of Elko, they have their own emergency managers.
All right, so, all right, thank you.
But we share amongst each other a lot, resources, Mineral and Esmeralda, for example, we
Right.
share, volunteer at each other's fire departments. And we try
Right
our
on.
best to share resources.
Yeah.
Okay, anything further? And I do know that you're involved in the entire county. So I appreciate all your help with Yerington and some of their issues that are going on. So
Now, just note, I am bringing this forward to the Burnley City Council, so I'll bring that back as a separate agenda item.
okay,
Right on.
all right. And I've already asked for public input. Seeing none, I will ask for a motion on 16B.
Chairman Hockaday, I'll make a motion to approve an interlocal agreement between Lyon County and the city of Yerington for Lyon County Emergency Management to provide emergency management services, and the city of Yerington to provide $2,000 per year for a term of 5 years with an automatic renewal for an additional 2 years.
Have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Jacobson and a second by Commissioner Henderson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Advisory Board 17A for possible action, appoint up to one member to the Dayton Regional Advisory Board with a term expiring December 31st, 2024. Mrs. Lopez,
Does you have a question for me?
any questions? If not, it looks like we have one applicant, Jason Kimmelong. And anybody want to make a motion for that appointment?
Comment?
Oh, public input. Good catch. Public input. Seeing none, now I'll look for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we appoint Jason Kimball Long to the Dayton Regional Advisory Board with term expiring December 31st, 2024.
Got a second?
Second.
Okay, and say then I will.
Yep.
We've got a second by Commissioner Jacobson. So motion by Commissioner Henderson and a second by Commissioner Jacobson. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. County Manager, you're up again. 18A for possible action, review and approve a resolution requesting a bill draft for the 83rd Nevada Legislature mandating that GPS websites and application post extended road closures and hazards within 48 hours work with emergency managers to identify safe alternative routes, supports communication between GPS providers and emergency managers and law enforcement, and enhances Nevada 511 and NevadaRoads.com by providing the option for local public safety officials to post road closures and hazards. Go ahead, sir.
Andrew Haskin, Lyon County Manager. So I included in your packet a draft resolution that would direct me to submit this bill draft request. There's a process that we have to go through. So there's another form that gets filled out. I will attach this as an exhibit to that form and then submit everything to LCD by September 1st, assuming it is approved today. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, anybody have any, Commissioner Henderson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not a question, but a comment. Don't put too much time wordsmithing that VDR because LCB is going to change it. Just give them what you want and let them do the writing.
Yeah, just to address that. So the form doesn't even really give you the option to wordsmith it. As you say, they basically want you to list out what the issues are, explain the problem that it's looking to solve, and submit it from there.
Because I have crafted some beautiful BDRs and submitted them and they got shredded.
Yeah.
So
Anything further from commissioners?
Give me 1 second.
You have something?
No, just 1 second.
Okay.
So everything on there is just during closures, right? That's not.
Yeah, that's correct. We just did it in emergency situations. That was the direction that the board had provided. So it wouldn't address
Like Ramsey weeks.
Anybody that
Yeah.
drove that this morning, there was a truck that tried to turn around and was stuck in the middle, ended up stopping there.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
yes, it was.
I rolled up just as it happened. So.
Okay, anything further? And there wasn't any public input on that I can see on the board or in here, so we'll look for a motion on that BDR. I have one. Go ahead.
I move to approve a resolution requesting a bill draft for the 83rd Nevada Legislature mandating that GPS websites and application post extended road closures and hazards within 48 hours, work with emergency managers to identify safe alternative routes, support communication between GPS providers and emergency managers and law enforcement, and enhances Nevada 511 and NVRoads.com by providing the option for local public safety officials to post road closures and hazards.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hendrick, second by Commissioner Henderson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Move on to 18B for possible action, authorizing select county commissioners and county manager to attend the 2025 NACO National Association of Counties Legislative Conference in Washington, DC, March 1 through 4, for an approximate cost of $3,500 per person. Go ahead.
Andrew Haskin, Lyon County Manager. Actually, if I could request that we read 18C and 18D into the record as well. Obviously, we'll take action separately on each of those. However, what I have to say does apply to those.
Okay, I'll read 18th. Any objection to that? All right.
Now let's make him say it all 3 times.
Yeah. For possible action, authorizing select county commissioners to attend the 2025 NACO National Association of Counties Western Interstate Region Conference in Rapid City, South Dakota, May 20 through 24, 2025, for an approximate cost of $3,500 per person. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, and
Yeah.
18D. I'm sorry.
Oh, you want D also? Let's keep it up. For possible action, authorize Commissioner Keller to attend the Joint Board of Directors Large Urban County Caucus and Rural Action Caucus Symposium in Sonoma County, California, December 4 through 7, 2024, for an approximate cost of $2,500.
Perfect. All right, Andrew Haskin, Lyon County Manager. So I just wanted to provide some numbers for you, just as you're thinking about which commissioners to send and how many to send to the various events. So this year we budgeted $30,000 travel budget for the commissioners. so far out of that, we've spent 7,900. A lot of that came from the NACO conference that we attended in July. And even though that gets paid, it got paid prior to July 1st, that it rolls over to this year's budget. The other thing that we have to consider is that your mileage reimbursement comes out of that as well. I took a look at last year's just to kind of see where we were at with that, and it ended up being about $4,000 total. So doing the math on that, that leaves about $18,000 for travel for the rest of this year. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention as you're considering who to send. If we do go over that amount, so we will have to go from contingency.
Okay, and I'll just make, since we're talking B, C, and D, I will be going to Rapid City, but I'm paying my own way and registration, so there'll be no expense for me to attend that conference from the county. And that way I can get the other things I want to take care of in Rapid City and also attend all the meetings that I want to meet and won't feel obligated to go 8 to 5 every day or anything. So I will be there on that one. And I said that will be zero cost to the county. So we will.
There was one other thing I missed. This also coming out of this will be the cost for the Nevada NACO conference, which will happen in September in Carson City. So any travel related to that.
Yeah, I'll be attending that, but I'm going to be driving there. I'm not taking a room. I won't charge anything on that one other than we'll have the registration fee. So that one will be a wash on that for me.
And the reason that's not on here for approval is because that is in our travel policy already set.
Okay. So any comments from commissioners? Commissioner Jacobson.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Huckabee. On the surface, it may appear I'm opposed to travel because I rarely travel. I am not opposed to travel. I'm opposed to sending several commissioners to meetings, even though I understand it's very valuable and everybody gets something out of it. But if there are commissioners that would like to travel to these, I will gladly step down and let them go. But again, I'm just not for sending several, a quorum, if you will, to some of these meetings, even though I know that we reap the benefit. We'll reap the benefit, I believe, with 1 or 2, just as much as 3 or 4.
Further?
I just have a comment.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a comment, and I really do appreciate the enthusiasm from this board for participating in both Nevada and National NACO. The only thing I'm curious about on these is Commissioner-elect Casanelli. If he has any interest in going on these, I don't want to freeze him out of that by taking action now.
Yeah. Andrew Haskin, Lyon County Manager. So obviously he's not on the commission yet. So I did not, honestly did not reach out to see if he had any interest in the ones that would take place after he was. Yeah, we can certainly, I've said we can certainly wait on that, and I can get some more information from him, but I'd have to check with the DA's office and with the comptroller to make sure we can approve that. I don't know if that can be done prior to the meeting.
Well, since you brought up the Nevada NACO conference, I think we should send him to that as well before he's sworn in. So, I mean, and in fact, he can have my registration if it's that tight of an issue.
I'll have to double check with the DA's office and with the comptroller's office on that.
Okay, Commissioner Jacobson.
Out of that, thank you, Chairman. Out of that travel funds, does the county manager come out of there as well?
No, so I have a separate travel fund. Completely separate. And just so you're aware that that budget is about 10,000.
I just kind of want to put it out there that those of us who serve on national NACO steering committees, we are supposed to attend. We have all day meetings at those functions.
And I don't know if everybody knew it, but the third item on there, the RAC, I got appointed as a vice chair for to the RAC commission. So that's why I would be attending that out of the normal. And if anybody wants to know what that does, I can explain it if they need it.
And just to add to that, I believe you're the only representative from Nevada on the Rural Action Caucus. correct?
Yes, sir. As of today.
Yeah.
It was a presidential appointment from the president of NACO, National NACO.
Okay, any further comments here? So why don't we go back up to 18B? And
Actually, Chairman Hockaday, what would it hurt to postpone this until the next meeting and we can line out what we've budgeted for and stick within our budget? I'm not a fan of going over the budget, especially when it comes to travel. Is there a way we could get some sort of an outline? Obviously, 18D, it sounds as though we'll probably be approving that, but find out where we're at in the budget after we schedule that in there and find out what we have left over to find out the numbers that we could send to for the 2 trips, one to Rapid City and one to Washington DC, even though I know Chairman Hockaday has volunteered to travel on his own.
Yeah, I got a question too.
So since he said individually, so we got, I think it's imperative that we're at least a 2-man, 2 or 3 or whatever. I want everybody that wants to go. I think it's important, especially for a lobbyist and the effort we do in Washington DC. They all have their own purpose. I mean, if you miss one, you're kind of screwing your county. For the amount of money that we bring in from our lobbyists, we heard our own lobbyists sit up there and say how important it is to be part of NACO. And to me, it's if we got to bring it out of contingency, we're going to reap the benefits out of the whole budget. It'll be added later.
well, just my comment back to you be, obviously DC, we've brought in millions. I would think that we could probably work with 18B. We've got plenty of time for 18C for Rapid City, and 18D is almost a gimme. You got to go. So that's kind of the way I look at these 3 right now, but we'll go on with Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Just a comment to actually piggyback on Commissioner Keller's comment. I agree, especially the Washington trip. As many people as we can send back there, the better. Senator Reed told me every time I was in his office, which was way too many times, they told me, make sure you bring your people back here to meet with me here. He could, because I can meet with you in the district, but my staff is here. So meet with me here and I can get my staff on these things. So it is vitally important to me. The DC conference sent as many people as want to go. WIR and that could be certainly less. And the annual NACO conference, whatever. But I believe that the legislative conference, at least, we should send everybody that wants to go. And that's all I have to say. And I'm not going to say anymore.
You brought up something, the annual NACO conference, it's not on this list because it will be next year and we haven't created next year's budget.
Commissioner Keller.
So everybody knows the WIR, the Western Interstate Region, the committees that actually influence the direction of WIR are public lands, which Commissioner Hendricks sits on. Agricultural rural affairs is one that I sit on, and the RAC and LUC. Also, that's it. Environmental, energy, and land use is the only one we don't have someone represented from our county right now. So basically, those are the committees that actually do weir. So it's kind of like very important for those committees to be there.
Any further comments from commissioners? So it's kind of recommended that we table the 3 trips until we get a actual list of the money, what we have to look at for coming up with each of the trips and the number of commissioners.
Is there a
Commissioner-
benefit to doing it sooner does it save us any money if we book earlier?
So most of these trips, with the exception of the rack trip, are a little bit further out, so I doubt registration's open for them yet.
Yeah.
So the answer is no, it doesn't save us anything by doing this. It will.
Sorry, just had a quick comment, Aaron Lopez. There sometimes is an early bird registration, which would save money. But the problem you have if you register closer to that date is sometimes you'll miss out on the motel room, the space you want to be at.
Mhm.
That's the
So-
comment I have.
So I want to make the comment, I had to stay, not when I went to Weir, I couldn't stay in the hotel with everybody because it was already sold out. And when we go to Washington, we got, maybe Commissioner Henderson can help me out on this, but I think they meet in the same place every time. And if you don't have a location close to the metro, you're kind of screwing yourself. You don't have to be close to the thing, but you got to be close at least to a metro. And to me, that's important to get those good lodging places instead of, last time I didn't really like the one we went to. And the time before that, I loved, so.
Yeah, I know where it was the time before that. I was
Yeah.
there, yeah. Mr. Chair, if I may.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I believe NACO now, National NACO, now does hold their conferences in the same place every year. They used to alternate them between the Hilton and the Marriott, but they tore the Marriott down. So, yeah, I believe they do stay at the Hilton every time, and I agree. I got to the point where I actually was staying in an Airbnb for a couple of conferences back there, but 10 minutes from the conference. So. But I certainly encourage participation in both NACOs. Now, one procedural question is, could we craft a motion to authorize up to 3 commissioners and the county manager to attend without actually naming names? To give you an idea to figure out what your budget is going to be?
I would have to look at the policy on that. I'm not sure if it requires us to specifically name which commissioners are going.
The agenda item says select county commissioners.
Yeah, so I would probably.
Yeah.
I would say then, based on that, we would pick who would go. Plus, then we wouldn't know who's going. I think it's probably best if some names.
Well, and looking at that, we'd be looking at about $11,000 for DC. 2,500, we're at 13,500.
7,000.
And depending on what goes on with the May one in Rapid, that's going to be probably another 3,500. So we're pretty well maxed at our budget at that point.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, you can.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I should have asked you this years ago, does the conference registration come out of the travel budget, or do you have a professional development line item in the budget for that?
That's a good question. We do have a training item. I don't know.
Okay.
The registration.
Okay, that stretches your travel budget, doing it that way. Okay.
It does a bit.
Okay.
All right. I'm open to suggestions here from the commissioners. I kind of stated my opinion. I think we could do all 3 items today. As far as, Commissioner-elect Casanelli, we're just gonna have to wait until he gets in. Not sure how the legal issue is on that and picking someone who's not yet a commissioner to go, but it would be great.
You can do it.
After thinking about it, my recommendation would be that once he is on the commission, if he wants, we can always bring back another item to specifically allow him to go, but
Okay.
that would be how we.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like a plan. So do we want to go ahead and move down the list and pick our commissioners and knowing that we'll still be projected within budget for these conferences?
I don't have a dog in this fight.
Yeah, I know, but you're still a commissioner.
Yep.
Do we want to go ahead and go down through and just pick our commissioners and move through item D? That's up to you guys.
And then you would just bring it back if it ran over the budget, you just come back with something for or do we say, take it out of contingency now?
We would need to decide.
Now, can we do that now? Is what I'm asking. We can select our commissioners.
Because March is going to come up and then you've got, well, actually December, March, May.
If you give me a minute, I can get you an answer.
We'll give you a minute.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
5.
He set his watch. Yeah, let's
just take 5.
take 5. We'll be back at 11:20. And we are going to be back in session here now that we've got all the answers we need.
All right, Andrew Haskin, Lyon County Manager. So yes, you can take approve one of these out of contingency if you'd like. How I would do it is just approve it out of contingency if needed in the motion.
Cool.
If that is the direction the board goes.
So
Make sure your mics are on.
like, so Chairman, I guess my question, so we don't know or don't know if we're gonna be over budget, but we're gonna approve that anyhow.
Yeah, so. I mean, it's kind of variable, right? So it depends on what everyone does for the September Nevada NACO meeting, right? And how much that costs for travel reimbursement. And then it also depends on reimbursement for mileage for commissioners for travel to and from meetings. Those are variable. I took a look at what we did last year as far as the mileage. It was about $4,000. So I factored that in. I did not, it spaced my mind to account for the Nevada NACO conference. So that's why there's a little bit of uncertainty there. I should have looked in to see what it cost last year. That would have given us a fairly decent idea, but I don't know. I mean, if the commissioners are planning on staying in Carson or.
Yeah, but last year, the Elko trip would have cost more.
Correct.
Especially driving,
Yeah.
because that's a lot of mileage.
Correct.
Me too.
Yeah, I'll be driving
Me as
there
well.
every day.
I'm probably gonna stay the night of the banquet in a hotel, but I'll pay for that myself, so.
Okay. So let's move on with 18B since we're looking at a way to get through this. For possible action authorizing select county commissioners and county manager to attend the 2025 NACO National Association of Counties Legislative Conference in Washington, DC, March 1 through 4 for an approximate cost of $3,500 per person. And of course, we get our flights early. There are some pretty good deals out there right now, so it could be less than that. So commissioner comments on that? We've had a pretty good discussion. Any public input?
You might want to ask who wants to go.
And now we're going to get into who wants to go and we'll make a motion on letting those people go. So who wants to go?
I'd like to go.
Okay.
Well, we have decent representation. I'm not,
Okay. And I don't like DC, so I'm not going. I love Tampa. The weather, no. Tampa, fantastic, beautiful place, great, great county. So that looks like we've got the two commissioners that are gonna go, basically the same as last time, and you'll be going along to get more millions for us. Appreciate that.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
This is another question.
Mhm.
Is it possible to put in Commissioner Casanelli if he's interested?
Oh, yeah, so we could do that at a later date,
Okay,
as far as.
So you can go back and revisit it. Okay, correct.
We'll revisit this item.
Okay.
All right, so at this point, we have two commissioners and the county manager. Anybody want to make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
Move to authorize and authorize Tammy Hendricks, Scott Keller, and Andrew Haskin to attend the 2025 NACO Legislative Conference in Washington, DC, March 1st through the 4th, for an approximate cost of $3,500 per person.
have a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Keller, second by Commissioner Hendricks. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right. Move down to 18C for possible action authorizing select county commissioners to attend the 2025 NACO National Association of Counties Western Interstate Region Conference in Rapid City, South Dakota, May 2024, 2025. For an approximate cost of $3,500 per person. Okay, so we have two commissioners on that are in positions in the Western Interstate region. That was Commissioner Hendricks and Commissioner Keller. And I will be going on my own dime. So I'm out of that. I'm just going. So doesn't matter whether you say so or not, I'm going. So do we have any commissioner comment on that? Or any public input on that? And let's discuss who's going to go and make a motion of it. Have I said everything I need to say? Okay. Good.
I move that we, what?
We haven't said who's going to go yet.
Oh,
Yeah, so I kind
You-
of said that
I thought you
Commissioner Hendricks is on the board, Commissioner Keller's on the board. So those two are going to be going to the WER. And I'll be going to figure out what they're doing there.
Okay.
Anything further on that? Now I'll take a motion on those two commissioners.
Mr. Chair, I move that we authorize Commissioners Keller and Hendricks and the county manager to attend the 2025 NACO National
county
Association of
manager.
Counties.
County manager's not going.
No, okay, then the two county commissioners, as mentioned, to the 2025 National Association of Counties Western Interstate Region WI Conference in Rapid City, South Dakota, May 20th to 24th, 2025, for an approximate cost of $3,500 per person, with additional funds to come from contingency if necessary.
I'll second that. So motion by Commissioner Henderson, second by Commissioner Hockaday. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
May.
Nay, okay. Motion passes 4-1 with one nay by Commissioner Jacobson. 18D for possible action, authorize Commissioner Keller to attend the Joint Board of Directors Large Urban County Caucus and Rural Action Caucus Symposium in Sonoma County, California, December 4 through 7, 2024, for an approximate cost of $2,500. Commissioners, any comments, questions? Any public input? A motion on 18D.
Mr. Chair, if I can make a comment first.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to congratulate Commissioner Keller for getting selected as vice chair. That's an awesome thing. It's great to have Nevada people on those in those positions. So congratulations, Scott.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have a?
Sure, I can
Yeah,
move.
go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I move that we authorize Commissioner Keller to attend the Joint Board of Directors Large Urban County Caucus and Rural Action Caucus Symposium in Sonoma County, California, December 4th to the 7th, 2024, for an approximate cost of $2,500.
And I'll second that. So I have a motion by Commissioner Henderson, second by Commissioner Hockaday. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. We've already done 18E, so we're going to move on to 19 Comptroller for possible action, approve a 5-year master plan for the telephone surcharge.
There's your ink and slim.
Yeehaw.
About time. Okay.
That's how you enter a room, everybody.
Yeah.
Where's your holster and guns blazing?
CCW is how we do it.
Right.
Josh Foley, Lyon County Comptroller for the record. So this is a mandatory item that comes before the board every year to adopt a 5-year master plan. The telephone surcharge committee has met. We went through with the fire district's sheriff's office, Yerington Police Chief, and went through all of the different needs, and we recommended a 5-year master plan based on that discussion to the board. Very similar to previous years, just updating documents. I'm here for any questions. If you have.
Any questions, commissioners? Public input on the master plan? Seeing none, we will go ahead and get a motion on this.
Chairman Hockaday, I'll make a motion to approve 5-year mesh plan for the telephone surcharge.
Second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Jacobson and a second by Commissioner Hendricks. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. 19B for possible action, approve a district court law clerk position to have 2 employees for a 2-day overlap due to scheduled jury trial with funding to come from the district court's existing budget.
Josh Foley, Lyon County Comptroller for the record. I think it's fairly self-evident the court would like to have overlap. I probably didn't state that strongly enough, but that's a request before the board at this time.
Commissioner, questions? Any public input on this item? Seeing none, we'll take a motion on 19B.
Move to approve a district court law clerk position to have 2 employees for a 2-day overlap due to a scheduled jury trial with funding to come from the district court's existing budget.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Hendricks and a second by Commissioner Keller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda request item 20. Any agenda requests? Commissioner Keller, Commissioner Jacobson. I don't have any. Final commissioner comments, and we are going to have a quick closed session. So, but hang on. Any commissioner comments from Commissioner Hendricks? Commissioner Henderson?
Can't wait for the rodeo or the fair anyway.
Okay, it's today.
I know.
Commissioner Jacobson?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Hockaday. I just want to thank the Fair Board and the county staff for their hard work in getting ready for the upcoming fair. That's all I have.
Mr. Keller?
Nothing.
Nothing? All right, final public comment. Anybody that wants to make final comment can come up to the podium or get on Zoom. Looks like I do have someone, Chris Gonzalez here, but let me finish reading this. Get down here, I'm in the wrong spot. Citizens wishing to speak during public participation are asked to state their name for the record and will be limited to 3 minutes. The board will conduct public comment. We've already done our action items. So, Mr. Gonzalez, you're on.
All right, thank you, board. My name is Chris Gonzalez. For the record, I am a citizen out in Lyon, or Dayton, Nevada, Lyon County. I'm just coming to you today just to kind of put it on your radar. Currently in Dayton, our facilities for recreation are, I feel, to capacity as far as for like sports activities. This past spring, we had baseball.
Chris, is there any way you could talk closer to your microphone? I'm struggling to hear you. and I want to hear it. Can you move a little closer to your microphone or maybe
Yeah, can you
not so
hear me
close?
now
I don't know.
better? Is this any better?
It's not better, but
Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
All right, I apologize about that. I was unsure where my microphone is on my computer. But anyway, Chris Gonzalez, for the record, I'm a citizen out in Dayton. I also participate a lot in the youth sports out in Dayton. And I just wanted to just kind of bring it up to the boards that we're currently, at least it seems to me, at capacity out in Dayton as far as the youth sports goes. Just recently this spring, we were doing baseball and soccer out there, and we were sharing fields, and that's kind of hard to do when you're trying to have baseball practice, hitting balls out into the outfield when you've got a whole team of soccer youth out there trying to practice their soccer. So basically that's it. I didn't want to be too long-winded. I know it's part of the master plan to kind of look at levels of services for our parks and recs facilities out there. And, I would like to potentially see what our level of service for some of our parks in the Dayton area. Most of our leagues do service all of Central Lyon County. And some of our leagues are even hurting for facilities such as indoor facilities. Lyon County basically has none. I have been to a couple of the parks meetings. We've recently had some people coming out and talking about having facilities for things to do during the summer, not having to leave Lyon County for those. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. I appreciate the time.
thank you. Any other comments?
Ms. Summers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's flashed up there. Yeah, Miss Summers.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
My name is Brittany Summers. I am kind of just going to piggyback a little bit on Chris Gonzalez's conversation there of kind of our need in our community. I am a local Dayton resident on our Dayton Chamber Board and Parks Board, but coming as a community member of kind of what we're looking for in our community. I run a little small moms group here in town. We're working with some of the parks to do the walking pad and things like that. But we've had a lot of interest in the community to see some splash pad in our area as well. So we kind of just wanted to put that on the radar. I know that there's a master plan being worked on, but a splash pad for our kids would be wonderful to see.
Thank you. All right, I don't see anybody else.
Nope.
Okay. So we do have a short closed session, so we will be hanging out there, but the regular meeting is adjourned at 11:36.